Alright, so I just beat the game, well, the campaign, rather, and I'm just gonna explain my lightning build one more time. Yeah, no, because I did it earlier in the game when I was like in Act 1 and how I already had my abilities set up. I'll explain the abilities again because I kind of respec them at least once just to really maximize my build. So in this one, I'm just talking about the passives. The stats and everything else is nice, but that's not what really dictates too much of everything I do. So this right here, you gain 0.25% increased armor for 4 seconds when you do any form of damage, stacking up to 25%. What this one does is I deal 0.5% more increased damage for each second you stand still, up to 30%. So these two, if I'm standing still and attacking, I'm getting defense and damage just from standing still and attacking. This gives me a barrier when I hit an elite enemy. So when I go up against a group of enemies and there's an elite, they don't touch me and they all die because a barrier comes up and I do damage for I get stronger from standing still and I get more defense from hitting them while that. Now, what also adds to these three passives here is this passive here. You deal 25% increased damage when you have a barrier active. So when my barrier is active, that's 25% plus the 30% right here. That's 55% more damage from standing still and having a barrier on me. And I'm just going to town. Let me see what else. Then I have this one here. You heal for 10 life. Well, it says 10, but it's from anywhere from 6 to 24 on the spectrum. And this is why you got to turn on advanced tooltips in the settings. Turn them on. This helps you greatly in coming up with a good build. So life per second for each close enemy up to 121 life per second. So whenever I'm fighting a crowd of people, a crowd of enemies, I just get smack dab in the middle of them and then just go to town. Do my strongest chain lightning to just take them all out easy. And I get health back. This one is okay, I guess, because I do pick up crackling energy a lot. This is a critical hit, chance, and damage lightning build with crackling energy, so this one's good. Even though I probably would change that. This one's basic skill gain 30% attack speed, 30 to 60% attack speed. Definitely doing a lot here, especially since my basic skill damage on this weapon is 50.4% more damage from my basic skills. So you can tell, and then since it's spark, it does damage over time. The initial hit, and then the 3 hits after that are 3 hits of damage over time, which, as you can see here, has a 21% more damage over time. Now we go to my stuff over here. You deal 41% more damage, so from 38 to 53% more damage to immobilized, stun, or frozen enemies. Now, not only is this a critical hit chance and lucky hit chance crackling energy build, I also added the stun features of some of the abilities into the build, so people are getting stunned a lot because of my lucky hit chance. So that's 41%. So say if I threw my lightning spear, which is the one that stuns them more, and the first enemy hit gets stunned, that's 61. That's 41% more damage. All right, and then say if I hit a bunch of enemies, right, and I hit an elite, so I got my barrier, so I got the 24% here. Let's say I've been standing still for like I guess 6 seconds or whatever, and I got the 30%. That's what. Let me see where that's at. That's 24 plus 30. That's 54 plus the 41. That's 95, I think, or some shit like that. And that's 95% more damage if I stun them and standing still, and I got a barrier. It's kind of crazy. Now, this I just got from beating the game, and it's interesting. However, it's good because it does give me a lot to everything. that's important, which honestly does go hand in hand with my build, which is my core skill, which is chain lightning, and then overpower damage that no critical strike damage, lucky hit chance, and all my stats. Like this is honestly a great item. But these are the passive I have. Yeah, and then my boots is movement speed, basics. Like these are the passive I have, and if we look at my items, there's a lot of damage to stunned enemies. That's 30.8 more damage to stun enemies. So if I stun an enemy, that's 30.8 plus this 41% from that's 70. That's 70 fucking one probably. Just some more or less, that's a lot of more damage just because they're stunned. I think this one's movement speed after killing an elite, dodge chance. The only one I actually truly like of this one is the mana cost reduction. If I could change all the other three, I would. So honestly, these boots can go. I can definitely get another pair of boots, and that's probably what I'm gonna do. I have max of my Orbo or whatever, murmuring whatever shit there. I'm gonna probably go to the town and spam on boots till I get a nice pair of boots. This one's strength, intelligence, life regeneration while not damaged, healing received. Mean 10.4% more healing received when which is it? I think it's I have one that I don't have it. Yes, this one. I get life per second for each. So if this is giving me more healing received plus that passive there, that's a lot. This one's critical strike chance, willpower, and then ranks to chain lightning, which chain lightning is my main skill for when I stun bosses, and then I'm just wailing on them when it's just me and the boss, and that chain lightning bounces back and forth between me and them. They're taking crit damage, more higher damage because it's bouncing, and so with the two more ranks of that, forget about it. It's doing chunky damage. You watch any of my gameplay against bosses, you will see that once I stun them, turn on my ultimate and go Super Saiyan mode, they're fucking dead. They're fucking dead. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and I do huge amounts of chunking damage with this build. This is conjuration skill damage. That's where my lightning spear goes around. Shocking skill damage. That's anything I really use on my bars. Any shocking skill, all stats. Shadow resistance. I could change that one. I probably would change that one. This one is mana. I need that. Crowd control duration. I would say if it's a crowd control duration, stunning is considered a technical subcategory of crowd control. So that adds to how long they're stunned for, which is why when the boss gets stunned and I'm given so much time to go hammer my chain lightning and just again huge chunk damage. Basic skill attack speed. Now goes hand in hand with this right here where now it's 30% plus that 7.8, so it's basically 38% attack speed from what it says, but it goes 30 to 60%. And then the basic skill damage, so that adds to the basic skill. And honestly, holding X is what I usually do for the most part while playing the game. Like these are, and then of course you see the gems I have on. I always put skulls on my jewelry because that's the only thing I feel like is really effective across the board is just armor right across the board. Thorns, I had a thorns build at one point where I had like almost 1,000 thorns. So I was literally just running around with crackling energy maxed out on me, and then everything was killing itself at that point. This is good because a lot of the bosses and a lot of enemies got like something on the floor that's damaging you over time. So I was like, I might as well put this on for a little bit of survivability. And then this right here, 9%
This
critical strike
one
damage to
is
crowd controlled
training.
enemies. Meaning, when
Ready
I stun,
now.
that's even more 9% critical strike damage. Like
Yes.
this build right
Your
now is not the
prize
end,
awaits
but it's
incurable
it's
shot.
definitely It's definitely gotten me through strongholds, bosses, by myself. I played this whole thing mostly by myself. Mostly by myself. Now you see my attack power was 1,442. Let me get away from these guys. They're talking over there. See, as I stand still, we're gonna see my attack power go all the way up to its max. It's damn near 2,000. I haven't even. I've hit maybe half, of course, of of where I can be. My armor's already in the thousands. Like, I feel like I have the best build I have seen for a level 50 character. Now, according to my abilities, we're going to go over again what I chose to have activated because it makes the difference. You want Spark, you're going to go and get this one, of course, and then this one for the crackling energy. You're going to get Chain Lightning. See, its item contribution is 2. This is why this does a lot of damage. Then you have this one, critical strikes chance per bounce. And then this one is when it critically strikes, which is a critical strike build, I get a 25% chance to form a crackling energy. Then of course you get teleport for survivability. The cooldown is increased by 0.5 seconds per enemy hit up to 3 seconds. That shit is perfect. I run through a bunch of enemies all the time doing that. And then this one, after teleporting, you get 30% damage reduction. Now, the reason why this one's important is because this one's nice, but this one's even better because it's for survivability. You become a glass cannon because you get this. And now, I explained this in my last build, but I'm going to explain it again. You get 18% increased damage, but you take 9% more damage. However, if you got the barrier, if you got, something like, I'll explain to it, but if you got the barriers on you and you got the other passive on you that's increasing your defense, that 9% doesn't make a difference because every time I teleport, it negates the 9% with the whole 30%, so that's like 21%. So this glass cannon shit doesn't matter. Get it, you need the damage. Then you move on, you get over here, you want to get this lucky hit chance increased because this is your lucky hit chance towards every move. Now, if you look and you read, it says lucky hit chance 11%. Lucky hit chance 30%. Lucky hit chance 77%. So the point of having this is to boost the chances of the lucky hit chance of every skill because they measure up differently. They stack differently, separately from each other. Then, of course, you get the lightning spear. This is good. You get this, so critically striking, a lightning spear gains a 5% increased stacking critical strike chance for its duration. Meaning the more it runs around and hits and critically strikes, it gets 5% more critical strike chance. So it just has a more chance of hitting them harder. And then you get this one, because this is the important part of the lightning spear. I used to get excuse me. I used to get this one because if I get 5, it's 100% more damage, and my lightning spear will be really powerful. That's nice, but if I'm doing a critically striking build, this doesn't matter because I'm going to be doing a lot of damage if it's constantly critically striking, and especially if it stuns them for 2.07 seconds when I strike them. And that's the important part because the stun from this caters to this and no wait, yeah, this and where is it? It might just be that, but point is the stun is supposed to help this right here, which at the end also caters to the 30% damage to stun enemies. So you want to get that lightning spear, and once I throw out my lightning spear, for the most part everybody's dead. Oh, back here, yeah, get that maximum mana, you're gonna want that, and then you're gonna want this, because when you do this, until it's less than 50 mana, it'll be 9% increased damage for every casting, which is why you want a high amount of mana. But then I got this, and this, and this is just for survivability. I don't know if I want to put more points into it because I'm trying to put points into the moves so they can hit harder. But you gain 1% damage reduction against elites for each second you haven't taken damage from one, up to 40%. So I can run through a shit ton of enemies, and if I never get hit by an elite, which happens a lot, I constantly have 40% damage reduction. Uh, oh no, from elites until I'm hit by one. Oh, okay. I see, that explains it. But even still, that's for survivability because elites hit hard. And then this is when I use a cooldown. It grants 10% of your maximum life as a barrier for 2 seconds. This shit has saved my life plenty of times where I was about to die and I threw my lightning spear or I teleported, with my lightning teleport, and it gave me a barrier right then off the bat. And it's pretty good. These two are pretty good, honestly. They're not bad. Then I went with the Ball of Lightning. I went 3 into it so far. I plan to max these out once I get the points from bringing up all the renown. But you go into this one, of course, because now the damage rate, how many times it hits an enemy is 200%. Like, that's crazy. And then this one here, because it hits faster, it's gonna hit a single enemy 4 times. So I'm getting a lot of crackling energy from just casting this. I went with these two because I did not know what they were until I read them. Critical strikes with shock skills have a 15% chance to form a crackling energy. So all the other moves that give me crackling energies when I critically strike have brought up the chance even more with shock skill. And so if you read this one, oh, what the hell? 6%? That's weird. But that's, I guess, why this one's at like 77. Like, I don't know how that stacks in individually, like what makes it do that. But, then this one right here, this is the bread and butter of stunning enemies. Every time you stun an enemy, that means even if they're stunned and they get hit and they get stunned again, you deal basically that much damage, lightning damage to them, just from them getting stunned. So it's like an extra boost of damage. What's crazy about this ball, though, is I have the enchantment effect where critical strikes have up to 25% chance to spawn a static ball on them. So all these strikes and all these critical strikes and lightning everywhere, and it literally has a 1 in a 4 chance to spawn one of these balls right on top of them, hitting them 4 times and giving me more crackling energies to take a second to run around, stack them up again, and then stand still, and it passively attacks while standing still. You know. Then of course you want to go this right here. This is the Super Saiyan mode for this build right here. And this, I've seen it. It's nice. This, I haven't seen it. And I don't know. But I would have to really, I'm going to start 2 more sorcerers just so I can go all fire and all ice and show you my builds of how I think that should go. But, I feel like this is just unstoppable. For 10 seconds, everything is just maxed in damage, and whenever you attack, it increases your attack speed by 25%. So, mind you, I have, again, on this one, a 30 to 60% attack speed. So, with that activated at the same time, I'm attacking at damn near 70-80% more attack speed because some of my other items give me, attack speed with basic skills. This, yeah. So then also, this right here, crackling energy continuously pulses and consumes no charges. So if I'm surrounded and I need to kill everybody around me in a matter of seconds, I'd go Super Saiyan mode, and for 10 seconds, I'm just unstoppable. And then I had to max these because these are very important, especially this first one. Hitting enemies with shock skills increases your critical strike chance by 30%, by 3%, resets upon getting a critical strike. Now, this has no limit, meaning if it doesn't critically strike, this shit will keep going up until you do. And if you ever watch my gameplay and you watch my buff box, you'll see it come up and disappear a lot. This is important, very important for the build. Enemies deal 15% less damage for 5.18 seconds after being critically struck by your shock skills. Now again, if I have all this critical strike chances and I'm critting a lot, which if you look at the numbers of my videos, you see I'm critically hitting a lot of these enemies, most of them, I'm getting hit 15% less. So if I teleported in and hit an enemy that critically struck and I got a 30% damage reduction, plus this, that's 45% less damage just from critically hitting them in when I teleport in. I do that to bosses all the time, and you see literally how they'll hit me with their ultimate, they hit me with a strong attack, and nothing happens to me. Now this one, shock skills have up to a 9% chance to stun enemies for 3 seconds. So literally any move that I do has an even more chance to stun enemies. So everything I do can stun enemies. And now that's the lucky hit, which is why you not only need critical strike chance, you need lucky hit chance. Because then that 9% also adds up to the other shit that gives me lucky hit chance. You see, so all of this builds up to lucky hit chance, critical strike chance, and then, you know, barriers and just standing still and using your moves when you need to. Like, that's what it comes down to. Now, I could, you know, not use these and go with this. Because when I use unstable currents or I have the passive that summons an extra lightning bolt, lightning spear, if I cast it, that means for every lightning spear flying around, which sometimes be a lot, is 1% increased damage. So sometimes if I do unstable currents, and man, that's actually a really good idea because these two I really don't give a fuck about. And that's 2 wasted points, I feel. I might just do that. Because I feel like that'll go 1, 2, 3%. And that 3% increased damage for each active conjuration. And that's damage across the board. Yeah, I'm going to have to just respec and put that there. But, you know, like this build has not failed me a lot. I would say about 10% of the time it's failed me. And 90% of the time, I walk in and decimate every boss and everything with no problems and no fear. And then these last, you know, what's this called? Key passives. This is nice. It hits 1 additional enemy each time it cracks and hit an enemy. Shock and steal cooldowns are reduced. Blah, 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 blah. That's nice. But this is where it's at. Enemies always run up to you and they always get close. They're going to take 10% increased damage from shock skills and they're going to deal 20% less damage to you. Critical strikes increases these bonuses by 25%. So that if I'm constantly critically striking, that's 35% more damage from them being close to me. And you'll see when I chunk my bosses, this is why, because everything is increasing damage from these critical strikes. From stunning, from critical striking, from being close, from standing still, from having a barrier. All of this stacks me up to being literally a one-man army. And I'm telling you, it's, to me, I feel like after beating the game and basically damn near being endgame, which is, this is not the real endgame, because I haven't gone into PvP, I haven't done helltides, I haven't done nightmare dungeons, I just got to this level. But I don't feel like I'm going to have a problem. And I'll get back to you guys if I do have problems. But honestly, I don't feel like I'm going to have a problem. Because I took down Lilith on my first try, and granted, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who did. But if you watch back on my my gameplay that I streamed of the story, you'll see how much I actually did to her. And she once got me low in health, and that's because I got careless and I stood there. This build is unbelievable with this skill tree and with these passives. It's unstoppable. I feel like it's really unstoppable, and nothing hurts me enough, nothing survives long enough to really become a problem to me. Now we go to the Paragon. As you can see, I went this way to quickly start getting these intelligence, because intelligence brings up your damage. Alright? And then this, I'm trying to get it because if it is, it's another 10% of non-physical damage if requirements are met. So if I got 200 intelligence, another 10% of lightning damage, you know, stacked on. And then, yeah, none of that. More intelligence, willpower, that's nice. Dexterity. Now, the reason why dexterity is important is because dexterity gives you the critical strike chance, which is why you want to go that critical strike chance. And then for this one, I put on for every 5 intelligence purchased within range of this, you get a 0.5% increase in damage. So what I'm going to do is get this and this. Now, apparently this goes up and gets wider. I'm not sure. Let me see. Next radius increases at level 4. Now, I don't know what that means, but if it gets any bigger and it stretches out like here and I get all of this, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, a whole 2% more of intelligence. No. That'd be 2% more of damage. Now I went this way, strength, that's okay. Here we go, 5%. We go here, we get that intelligence and that damage. Now again, if I get my dexterity up, that'll not only bring up my critical strike chance, it's also gonna bring up my damage. And I'm gonna continue up this way till I get here and see what happens here, because I think what happens here is it ends up building up more this way, because I've seen some videos where people have like a long board. So when I saw this, I didn't understand why it was so small. But that's my build. And if you watch my gameplay more, you'll understand why my build, I feel like, is the unstoppable lightning god build. Like I'm Palpatine right now, basically. I walk in ultimate power and limited power, infinite power. I just go crazy and ruin every enemy's life that is around me. I barely use these, honestly. As you can see, I made some, but I haven't really, the ones that are left. That's because I was trying to level up fast, you know. But I barely use these. I forget they're even there. And these are the aspects. I know I read somewhere that you're not supposed to extract them, but I extract them because the item they're on fucking sucks. So I don't care about the item. I just want the aspect. Like this right here, I definitely want to put this on an item. You know, this right here, another one of my favorite. I fucking love this one because that ball lightning spins around me, and when I use uncontrollable currents, when I use that, it summons balls of lightning around me. So that's another stack of just energy and just damage around me. These are okay. I don't care about hydras, but I still wanted to extract it. See, so this right here would be good too for the build because of the injured enemies and having a critical strike chance. You know, that would be good, but I don't use that one. This right here would be good, chain lightning, but I don't have enough items. I don't have enough items, and honestly, I think for one item I would change would be this one because I don't give a shit about movement speed. Honestly, that doesn't help me much. So the only thing I'm gonna focus now is on the boots because everything else I'm gonna increase. I'm just gonna try to get enough resources to make them all level 4. And this is definitely not the end build, but it's feeling a lot like the end build.